Let's take a second to look and see how Google Drive is organized. So I'm going to start with the left-hand menu. So over on the left-hand side, you have a button that will get you back to Google Drive. This is where we're at. And right below it, you have what would normally be kind of a tree display of your Google Drive. And to look at that, you would click on it and it would drop down the menu. Every time you have an arrow, you can extend that and see more folders and subfolders. And a lot of people like this version of it. I use it occasionally when things get too big and too messy, but for the most part, I don't normally use this. If you need more room, just kind of mouse over to this line and you may be able to extend it when this turns into an icon like this and drag it over. And that seems to be as far as we can go. So that'll let you extend this. But this will give you a tree view of your Google Drive. So another feature by logging into the Jamestown Google Drive as opposed to your own is you also have team drives. So you can create a team drive and put information in there. And one of the nice things about a team drive is if somebody departs for whatever reason, that you won't lose all that content. We had that happen and it can get quite squirrely. Next, you have shared with me. So if students are creating content and they are specifically sharing it with you, this is normally where you will see that. It could be other folks on campus collaborating, sharing documents. That's where you're going to see all this information. One of the things that you can do is you can also park it in My Drive, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. The next item is recent. These are the recent documents that have been changed, modified, and you can see who's modifying them and the fact that they're shared, and you have access to them if you have access to them. Starred documents or starred folders and starred documents. This is basically a favorites list, and this shows you everything that you have favored. Then we also have the trash, and this is anything that you have thrown out. It actually just goes into the trash until you decide you really want to empty the trash, and then it'll get rid of those things. This lets you know how much space that you have used, the storage. So I'm going to go back to My Drive. So on My Drive, at the very top, you have quick access, and these are the various documents that you have most recently worked on in that particular drive, and right below it you have a list of all your folders and other documents that you have not yet put into folders. You can look at this list in two ways. One, you can look at it as a list, or up in the upper right hand corner you have the ability to put it into a grid view. So this shows everything in a grid view. Some prefer to look at it that way. They get to see kind of what the document looks like. I am a list guy. I like to look at it as a list. One of the features of the list is I can sort it alphabetically. So I can change it based on the alphabet. All right, so this is a strategy. Now, this first one, Student Success Seminar, the reason that it's at the top is because I put a period at the beginning of the file or the folder name, and that lets me know to move it up ahead of everything. So a period will put everything before it. You can also sort it by owner. Well, I lied, you can't sort it by owner. The last modified date, you can, when it was last modified by me, you can last opened by me, or just last modified. And then finally, you have the file size, so it'll tell you the file size. So there's a couple items here that will let you sort these as you wish. So let me get back to sorting by name. To help with the organization, one of the things that you may do with folders is you may color code them. So if you right click on a folder name, for example, one of the options is you can change the color. So I'll change the color for my Student Success. Let me go back. Student Success and make that green. Here is another Student Success folder. So maybe that's the strategy I have. For all the specific courses, I put them in one color. The other thing that you notice by folders, if you have a figure in that folder, kind of head and shoulders, that means that folder is being shared. And we'll talk about sharing in more detail. And then finally, below all your folders, you also have a variety of documents, that are not put into folders. One of the ways that you can move things around is you can just click on a file until it turns blue like it has, and then move that into another folder. Okay, so now that's in that particular folder. I don't know what I have in there. Oh, I have to double click, sorry. And so I have that folder. What I can do is I also can drag it from here, and I can also drag it to another folder if I want. But in this case, I want it still in my drive, so I moved it back into my drive, and there's that file again. So you can drag things back and forth and organize your folders that way. You can have a hierarchy in your folder. We'll talk about creating files and folders in another video, but I just wanted to give you kind of the landscape of how things are organized, how you can, kind of move some things around.